Ladies and gentlemen, this is That Saints Pod. You got me, the Patty V. We got Mr. Myles Boudreaux, and we got Jacob from Big Easy Nation over here. A lot has happened in the world. A lot has happened with the Saints since the last time we met. I think last time we were talking about post Super Bowl. We were talking about potentially hiring Kellen Moore. We hadn't even technically done that yet. Tonight, brought to you by Be in the Know. Obviously, didn't say that. Tonight, we're going to talk about the coaching staff. They finally assembled the entire staff, or most of the entire staff. You got most of your, your positions that you still got to fill out, I believe. But we're getting there. You got some things to discuss around your quarterback situation, probably what that makeup the roster is going to look like, and then probably some draft stuff. As you guys know, we got Mr. Myles here.
That's good.
It might go off the rails. So, with that being said, let's get this stuff underway. How are we feeling first and foremost with the hire of Kellen Moore? Or let's just do like a temp check with Myles first, because Myles hasn't been on in a while. Just hand it to him. How are we feeling about the Saints and their coaching staff right now?
I mean, it's hard for me to have severe pushback for a guy that just won a chip, a guy that contributed to a team that had a very good season, a team that came in the dome. No matter how garbage the Saints is, it's a difficult position to be an away team in the dome. We have the best fans in the world. And they found a way here. And it seems like throughout the season, they found a way and they leaned on their talent. And I think good coaches do that. They set up schemes to elevate, their best players, and they develop the players that need to be developed. And Kellen Moore, he's a guy.
Keelan.
Is Keelan?
No,
Okay, I'm about to say,
Keelan.
it's Kellen, right? Okay, so he had a fantastic career at Boise State. Yeah, I'm a little too young to really understand how successful he was, but when you look back at it, and I mean, I was playing NCAA with him because everybody liked to play on that blue field, but like really when you look back at it, and you're just like, wow, this is a winning guy. Like this guy knows how to win. He comes from coaching staffs that have years in the game. And, he's a young guy that got into the league, played a little bit, and got into coaching, played for some pretty good staffs that had, talent everywhere. And then he goes to the Eagles and does what he does. So I'm happy just for, the refreshing start that we're getting sort of with a new coach. I definitely didn't think and I don't want to keep dissing Dennis Allen. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I just don't think he was the coach for the Saints for at least a winning program here. And I think Kellen Moore has the opportunity at least to get, the backing and support of the fans, which a coach coming in this league, especially this division, you need your fans to support you, even if you have a rough patch. And I think fans are willing with Kellen Moore to be like, okay, we get it. This first year might not be too pretty, but he seems like a guy that is going to instill some type of foundation that isn't from the Sean Payton era, but is from something that is a winning program. And I think by some of his selections and the other coaches, you get people excited. Getting a guy like Nussmeier with them for the offensive, game plan, just having that continuity. It doesn't matter if you're thinking this is like, oh, well, we're just getting Nussmeier because his kid down here. I think, having that continuity, and that guy was a part of a winning program too. So it's like you got guys that come from winning. I don't think we can get any worse than last year picking the guys up that we got. So I think it's at least in, a direction in the right way.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Before you go too deep into the coordinators, I don't think we got your take on Kellen Moore last week either. So I'd love to get your thoughts on Kellen Moore.
I love it. I mean,
and then if we can, before we do that, then let's also do the coordinators. We could wrap those together. But go ahead, Jacob.
No, I mean, they're literally swinging for the fences. I mean, hiring the youngest coach in the league right now. So yeah. I mean, I like it. I hope the fans don't give up on him after one bad season, because it's going to take time to rebuild this roster and get it the way he envisions, how he wants it. So
sure. Yeah, no, I respect it. I think you guys are both spot on. Young coach, I love that, first and foremost. Kellen Moore, I think what I love most about him is like everywhere he's been, it seems like the offenses, or at least the quarterbacks, have been successful. Maybe always been paired with a guy who was looked at as lesser than until he got to Philadelphia, to be completely honest. And then even there, people were kind of hating on Jalen Hurts as a passer, and they said, okay, watch this. So, things have worked out for him as far as that goes. So I'm excited to see that and the route they take with the quarterback, which we'll get into in a little while. But yeah, also assembling a younger staff, so to speak, which we can get into coordinator wise. You mentioned Nussmeier. Do you have any thoughts on Nussmeier before I go into my spiel? Because I got thoughts on Nussmeier, I'll be honest.
Nope.
I don't have a lot to say about Nussmeier other than, when his son talked about him a little bit. And then I did a little, I didn't do any crazy research. This is, I'm gonna be very frank. This is very much, I was on Twitter and saw a couple posts and I was like, oh, this guy, he won a lot in his past. And I like anybody that's a winner. Because, it takes principles to win big. And anybody that's won on any level, I think, where the Saints were last year, I would take any winners. I'll take all the winners that I can get. That's how I feel about it right now.
Yeah, that's fair. I look at a guy like Nussmeier and I give a very, very large sigh, kind of like a okay. I tried to look back and find something positive because a lot of the fan base that I follow are also LSU fans, and maybe that's why they're so maybe purple and gold color glasses, so to speak. Obviously, I know he has the connection to the Saints back in the day. That's also something that fans really love. He's New Orleans guy. He's not actually a New Orleans guy, but people look at him that way. His son plays for LSU, so I think there's that mutual connection that people are latching onto. But I've heard people say things like quarterback whisperer and some other things. I'll be honest. I went and looked through his history. I don't see a lot. I think you called out something with continuity. I think that matters, right? And I think that's important. I think someone else on Twitter that I saw said something really important to call out, that this may be more like the 06 Saints, where you see a Sean Payton, Kellen Moore comes in young. He's the one that's going to handle the offense, but he brings his guys in with him to kind of set the culture. And I think maybe that's what Nussmeier is going to be that guy that's another voice, kind of repeating everything Kellen Moore's saying and basically setting the culture as Kellen Moore sees fit. But yeah, looking back, I mean, I looked through some of the quarterbacks he's worked with. The biggest thing to point out is collegiately, great. He got guys like Jake Lager into the league. He got other guys into the league that people probably never thought would be drafted or would end up on an NFL roster. But when they got to the NFL, they were largely irrelevant. So, I kind of look at that and I'm like, okay, maybe. Through his career in the NFL, he's been with some okay guys. Nothing wowed me. Let's put it that way. Until last year, where you got to give him credit. He's a part of a Super Bowl program, right? So, hey, I guess that's where I stand. I'm just not overly excited, but we'll wait and see.
I think that's the right position, honestly, because this isn't a first choice guy. If we were so excited, he probably should be, in competition for a head coaching position. Any offensive coordinator that's that elite or fantastic that makes you oh wait, we're getting him. Nowadays you're just maybe he should go be a coach,
Right.
somewhere. But I mean, I think what you said was sort of spot on. Building the foundation. Moore has somebody that he knows that's probably going to be able to properly regurgitate all those principles and values that he believes in. And I mean, he might not be here in 2 years, but if he sets the foundation, then hell, I'm for it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. What about you, Jacob? You got anything to add to that before?
Nope.
Cool, because I want to talk about Brandon Staley too. Should I just launch into how I feel about him too? Because it's probably pretty similar to what I just said about Nussmeier. Not excited. Again, I think it's a voice. I think he's got a little bit of a history where you see he's been attached to some good programs, some good defenses. But I'm going to say it like this. If we're going to judge Dennis Allen based on the way his defense performed when he was a defensive-minded head coach, I got to judge Brandon Staley the same way with the Chargers. And his defenses were dog shit. They were not good. I'm talking middle to the bottom of the pack every year. Couldn't stop the run to save their life. And I look back through his history and like he's been with a defense or two that were pretty good, but aside from that, pretty mediocre. Interested to see how it goes. He's probably going to change up the scheme. Definitely runs a different scheme than what we've run over the years. I know that some of the defenders are excited to work with him. I think Alante tweeted out that he was about to be unleashed, which I wouldn't expect him to say anything less. You should say that. But yeah, not really excited. People probably gonna look at this and be like, "Yo, Patty hates these hires," but kind of where I'm at.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
You
I know. I figured. I mean, just thinking back to his years, even if you don't know much about him as a defensive coordinator, just think back to his years, with the Chargers. Is there anything that stands out about a guy like Brandon Staley?
He's developed a few guys over there that are pretty good. But other than that, I mean,
Yeah,
can't really say much.
Like-
Like Derwin James,
yeah.
Joey Bosa.
They say Bosa might be available, right?
Yep.
Has he been cut yet? Or they're talking about
I don't
cutting
think he's. Yeah.
Yeah.
Khalil Mack.
Come down to the south, boy.
There you go.
Play some football down here.
I think he's like his brother. He's never mind.
I don't care.
It's not,
As long as he
let's not
gets
do that.
as long as he gets a sack for the Saints, I really don't care.
That's fair.
Honestly.
Yeah, I think the thing that I like about Staley, actually, I just hated on him. I kind of like the forward thinking approach that he took as a head coach. I think it's cool to have someone that's just so heavily into analytics and some of the out of the box thinking that you're starting to see nowadays. You just saw it in Philly. You see it a couple other places around the league where guys are just known to lean into analytics. Hey, in this position, the numbers say we should do this. I think it's cool to know that. I think that coaches that overlook that should, maybe look within.
It's funny that you say that because I forgot which comment or color analyst was saying this, but they were talking about how the Saints are one of the few teams in the league because of the Dennis Allen defense that on like a 3rd and long, they don't go into man. And it just always sort of backfires because the teams know that they're not going to be in man in their own zone or they're like blitzing. And I wonder if this is going to be different now because we've seen the Saints put a team 3rd and long, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 11, and then you're sending a blitz or you're playing like a soft zone, and they just dissect you and get the first down, and now we just the entire crowd's just deflated because we couldn't hold our own on a 3rd and long. So maybe this is something that we're like, hey, that's not the smart thing to do. Most of the teams in the league don't do what you're doing right now. So, I mean, hey, I'm going to try to be optimistic. Myles is going to try to be optimistic for this.
Wow.
For this year.
We're turning a new leaf.
Yes,
I was hoping I was getting the angry Myles that would have talked for 30 minutes about Dennis Allen and how terrible he was. We'll get to that part with Derek Carr probably.
I'm safe.
We'll get to that. You got anything to add about the coaching staff? Have we made, admittedly, over the last week, outside of the coordinator hires, I have not looked too deep into the positional hires. I know they filled out a lot of them.
I know they got Tolson to be their quarterback's coach.
Okay. Another young guy, another former quarterback,
Got a running back coach, a linebacker coach.
Yeah. They retained, not retained. He went to the Giants last year, came back.
Yeah. I'm seeing him. I just can't think of his name. Yeah, well, either way, listen, we could dissect position coaches all day, but who wants to? I mean, I'm sure people want to hear about that, but I don't know enough right now to dive into that. So maybe next time. Aside from that, you do have the looming question now, and there are whispers. This may tie. I wanted to have 2 conversations here. I wanted to have a Derek Carr conversation or a future quarterback conversation, and I wanted to have a draft conversation. There's whispers. Derek Carr, you could wipe him off the books this year and potentially save $30 million. He only has his $10 million roster bonus from what I'm reading. Maybe I'm wrong. The numbers with the Saints, the cap numbers are always, it's like you got to stand sideways and squint an eye and, figure that shit out. But reportedly, from what I've seen, you can cut him or move him and save 30 mil prior to June 1st. So where are we with Carr? What are we thinking we want to do there?
I'm saying save the 30 mil. Start Rattler next year. See where that goes. it's good. Great. If not, top 5 pick, top 10 pick.
Yeah. Do you think there's potential to trade Carr as opposed to
No, I don't
cutting
think
him?
any teams, unless like you're desperate, I don't think any team's going to want him.
Okay. What about you, Myles?
It's so crazy that he even says that because it's like we're supposed to be paying this dude millions of dollars, and it's like no other team wants him. That is,
I don't think any other team would want him unless
It's rough.
because it's like other teams they'd probably just risk it more in the draft and be like, we'll take a chance on Jackson Dart, we'll just do that. We don't want Derek Carr. That's, I'm taking a finance risk management course right now. And if I brought up, would you take this money for Derek Carr, my professor probably would like smack me and be like, that'd be the dumbest financial decision you could probably ever make right now. But no, Derek Carr needs to go. Save your money. Give Ryler a chance with some, starters. I feel like at the worst, you're making yourself, a very good backup quarterback in the future that can be here. And if he becomes sort of like in that territory where we've had quarterbacks for the Saints, like Teddy Bridgewater, Jameis Winston, it's like they're backups, but they could play some really good, starter ball for a couple games, depending on who you're playing. I think at the least it'll be fun. The fan base will rally behind him. And if he's doing bad, then we just get answers. And I don't think there's anything wrong with getting answers and still getting a top 5, top 10 draft pick. I really don't know where the Saints are going to be because the Saints they're so weird. Like they could just astonish us next year and like all this turnaround, like actually, off. I'm not going to say off dump, but pretty quickly, we went 8 or 9 games. I don't think that's like I don't think that's crazy to say, but also I wouldn't be like thinking crazy if we won only like 7 games. But I know one thing. I do not want to see a number 4 around. From a PR perspective, like what a just awful job by him and his team. All this stuff going on in New Orleans. You're not a part of the culture. You're not in the city. You're not showing face. You're not representing us. And it's probably because he felt the hate, which he should have. It was there for a reason. We were
and then
trying.
He posted a video
out.
of like somebody sent me this insane highlight clip.
Yeah.
On Instagram.
Yeah, I think he knows he's on his way out. If I'm being dead honest, I think the reason he wasn't a part of Super Bowl weekend and he's not here for any of the stuff going on for Mardi Gras, I think it's because he knows he's on his way out. Also, I think he on Instagram posted something about moving back to California. So
yeah,
just saying, read the read between the tea leaves or whatever they say.
And has anybody actually seen somebody wear a Derek Carr jersey?
Yes,
around here.
Yeah. But this was early. This was early on. These were early days. Now I don't know if that's happening. Here's the thing. I think they move on from Derek Carr, but I don't know if I'm in the same camp as you guys, or maybe there's just more that you guys didn't elaborate on. Like when I think of where they go at quarterback, I don't think the keys are just handed to Rattler. That seems insane to me, right? Like, yeah, he had some flashes last year, but there's absolutely no way you look at him and you say, yep, that's our starting quarterback next year. Like you got to at least bring in someone who has shown that they can start somewhere else, maybe a career backup. I don't know, like someone who's at least a vet that shows they can right the ship to compete at least, right? Like you can't just hand it to him. Go ahead.
Jameis Winston.
You're fucking crazy. I mean, yes, I love the idea, but good
we'd have
Lord.
fun. At the worst, we'd have fun. At the very worst, we'd have fun.
I was jealous of Cleveland the whole year just because all the fun they had.
Yeah.
If it snows again in New Orleans with Jameis, can you imagine the views?
Dude.
I mean, him on Fox during the Super Bowl was just awesome.
Yeah. I'm in a group chat with a bunch of dudes I used to work in baseball with. And one of the guys that lives up in Illinois right now randomly said something like, yeah, it's going to get old. Jameis, I'm tired of Jameis. And there's like 5 or 6 other people in this group chat. And everybody was like, you are out of your mind. I don't know what you're talking about. I'll never get tired of Jameis Winston. I didn't know the love that I was going to have for a guy like Jameis Winston. when he first came from Tampa, I was very just like, ugh, grossed out by it. Looking at him in Tampa, I was like, first of all, he's okay. He's boomer bust. That's fun, I guess. But he's also an idiot, is how I looked at it. Like, I was like, he's just a goofball. But then he became my goofball. Okay. And things changed. Right. It's like your little brother that annoys you your whole life. And then a bully tells him something. And then you're like, no, absolutely not. So I love Jameis Winston. I love that idea. I don't think that's happening.
Yeah, it's probably not.
Hey, Dennis Allen in here.
I don't think it has anything to do with
I know.
Dennis Allen. I mean, it did, to be fair, but I don't think that's going to matter. I also think, I mean, I've seen, and this is wild. I don't know if this will actually happen. And we brought this up on another podcast with Dylan McNeely and Dave Rainey called The Group Chat, which you guys are more than welcome to pop in whenever you'd like. It is a group chat pod. We can talk about anything. We talked about the situation a little bit, and we talked about the potential of trading up, right? And there were whispers, I think it was today or yesterday, that the Titans may be interested in Derek Carr. I'm not saying Derek Carr gets you number 1 or whatever it is. But if you can move up, do you get a quarterback? And which one do you take? Myles is in shock.
I don't
like
just
that's
stay at 9. If I don't know, I'd stay at 9.
You stay at 9?
Yeah, I stay put.
Okay.
Or trade back.
Okay. I'm going to come back to that.
The Tennessee Titans said, I want Derek Carr.
I think they want the haul that's also going to come with trading the pick. But yeah.
Oh,
yes.
Because I'm like, that might be worse than Nico Harrison's moving Luka Doncic to the Lakers. Like, that's possibly going to shake the internet that the Tennessee Titans are like, nah, bring Derek Carr over here. We don't want Bill Carter.
Would they take on his salary cap? That'd be another question.
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of unknown there. I'm just speculating. I mean, this could be totally fake. It's draft season, almost draft season. People are just putting out crap, and it is Twitter. People just run with stories that aren't real.
There are going to be a lot of fake stories on there, so people can get who they want. There's going to be a lot of smoke and mirrors and stuff like that. I saw somebody post for the Penn State edge. I'm saying that right. It's Abdul Carter, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I saw somebody put a fake video of him like crashing a car and be like, this thug, he should be dropped down in the draft to the 9th selection. Like people are just posting whatever to get who they want on their team right now. So yeah, I think that's fake news. I don't think anybody in the top 10 is going to say, I want Derek Carr. I'll trade with you Saints.
I don't even know about like a 2nd or 3rd round pick too.
I think if you're trading Carr, you're not getting a 1st round pick. I think he's a throw in.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and I don't know. They have to actually like him, because if you're trading him for the 1st round pick and they're agreeing to pay his contract,
nothing to, it's not really much to like.
Okay. First of all, y'all are going to turn me into somebody that I don't want to be, right? The Derek Carr disrespect is wild. I get why New Orleans fans don't like him. I get that. I see the Drew Brees shirt. Ain't nobody ever going to come close to Drew Brees. That's the problem. He's being measured against God. Not really. I hate that's blasphemy. I can't do that. But
no, he's being measured against Baker Mayfield and Cousins. He's being measured versus the NFC South quarterbacks, and he still couldn't get it done. So,
he basically is Kirk Cousins, if we're being honest. Although Kirk Cousins was supposedly hurt to end the season, and that's why he fell off. So I don't know.
Derek Carr's never had a chain like Kirk Cousins. Like, at least Kirk got some swag with it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that wasn't even Kirk's chain, but Derek Carr would have not have worn that chain. To be fair, he wouldn't even have done it. It's upsetting. Here's the thing. I think Derek Carr's a good guy. I really do. I just think that he tries to be a certain person publicly, and New Orleanians read through that crap. Like, just be yourself. Right? Like, if you don't want to do certain things, don't do them. Don't come out here and act holier than thou when you're asked questions like you're better than people or like more. Like, just be genuine. And if you can't be a genuine good dude, kick rocks. Like, that's kind of the vibe with most New Orleanians. We love your flaws. That's why we love Jameis. Like, just be unapologetically you, and if you can't, we're not gonna like you. The whole like love New Orleans and it'll love you back. I think it's deeper than that. I think it's really like, just be genuine, right? Now, if you genuinely hate us, we're going to genuinely hate you back. But you had
My
to say something.
only pushback against that is because we see this with the Pelicans. You know, I talk about the Pelicans. Zion can have he could be the best kid ever. But if you're a star for a team, your value lies primarily in how you play. That is where your value lies. Because New Orleanians, you could go shoot somebody, go win us a chip. What? I'm telling you, they're still going to go celebrate on bourbon. They do not care. Now, granted, we're going to rally behind you more if you're a class act like a Drew Brees, if you're a class act like a Marcus Colston. I'm talking about guys that, you know, these are professionals, like a Jonas Valanciunas. You know, you just come to play, you do your job, and you represent the city properly, you know, to the best of your abilities. Derek Carr, I think he tried to do that from a morality stance, and for, you know, those 2 weeks that we got in the beginning of the season, he was really showing them stuff, you know, doing Michael Jackson dances. This man was going crazy, and we was rallying behind him because his value primarily was W's on the field. But right when it turned around, and we gave him like 2 weeks, like the next 2 weeks, we were like, all right, you know,
real life kind of hit us fast.
Okay, Eric McCoy's hurt, guys, but Carr's not that bad. We're still back in the car. And then it's slowly but surely, like I think after the Kansas City Chiefs game, I think that's when everybody was like, okay, this man is throwing free bags of chips on the field right now. Like,
he's a mediocre quarterback. That's the thing. And that's okay. It's not, but it is, right? Like, it could be worse. And I think that's the thing.
From a business standpoint, I'd say it's okay because you're going to make your money. We see him making his money. But from, like, you know, you live on the North Shore. I couldn't imagine driving from the North Shore, coming to a Saints game, and then watching Derek Carr throw some po' boys. Like,
I went to 2 Saints games last year, and the only reason I went is because Spencer Rattler started both of them. And I'm not even bullshitting you. No lie.
I understand that. I couldn't understand that. He's got aura.
Yeah. I was like, I just want to see what the kids got. And then there was like the first drive of the game. I was like, oh my God, we might have something here. And then it kind of fell.
Say one more negative thing about Derek Carr.
Go for it.
It just seems like he comes in to work, never tries to get better, and just stays. You know, just
he's quiet quitting.
Yeah.
That we're talking about. He's like, it's cool. I got paid. Fire me. I don't care.
Yeah.
Listen,
he's plateaued.
He has plateaued. It's fine. But I guess my argument here was we were talking about like teams not wanting him and like just how bad he is, right? He's an NFL quarterback, and he's a starting NFL quarterback. He's just not the top half. He's either right in the middle or a little bit under, right? Like he's 18, 19.
Yeah. I could say that. I'd say bottom 10 of the league. I think we're getting a lot of, you know, fresh quarterbacks in the league that teams I think are going to be a little bit more lenient on giving them like a Spencer Rattler, like giving them, you know, putting the ball in their court and seeing what they can do, seeing if they can develop them. I mean, maybe there's some teams that need them for sure. Like the New York Giants, if they can't get for some crazy reason they can't get Shador or Cam Ward or Jackson Dart. And I don't know the other quarterbacks. Those are the only quarterbacks I hear being said for this draft. But if they can't get like one of those names for some crazy reason, like maybe they're like, well, shit, we need a Derek Carr. Like we'll deal with it. You know what I'm saying? They make bad decisions all the time. So
the thing is, and this is the next thing I want to get to too. I want to hear everybody's ideas on like who we should draft and what we should do there, and then we'll close this thing out. But there's whispers right now around the NFL that like teams don't believe in the quarterbacks. Either Cam, Shador, like sure, some teams do, but yeah, see, there's whispers that like teams just don't really know. They're like, yeah, maybe. So who knows? I mean, maybe guys trade out it. Maybe teams trade back, hoping that somebody likes those quarterbacks because they don't like them. Personally, I like one of them. But yeah, what are we doing in the draft?
I kind of want to take. I want to take Genty.
Ginty?
Yeah, Ginty at 9.
Okay. I like that. I don't hate that. What you got, Myles?
I don't hate Ginty, but I'm a firm believer, and maybe I'm biased because I played on the line, but I'm just a firm believer that you build that line first. And I don't think you can ever suffer from getting better on the line. I don't care if you've got a good lineman already. I think you could just add more linemen for me, offense or defense. I'm getting the best linemen available because I think linemen pretty quickly can make a severe impact.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of skilled players in this draft that if we don't get them first round, you know, we'll get somebody good in another round. I really do believe in the talent for this draft. I've seen
It's a pretty
some
deep draft at like every position.
Yeah, you know, I've seen some mock drafts where it's like second or third round, like Mason Taylor's still available, and I'm just like, hell yeah, go get that guy. Like, these are guys that can make a difference right away. In my opinion, at least from what I've seen from, you know, I just think, and we're talking about Ashton Jenney first. It's like those boys at Ohio State just want to chip, and I don't.
2 running backs coming
I
out of
don't
Ohio
see.
State.
I know Ashton too. Yeah, and I would argue that they're being very underappreciated in reference to Ashton Jenney, because if you ask me what running back I'd want, I'm like, Ollie Gordon's still out there. The Ohio State running backs are still out there. Like, these are guys that are still up for grabs. And I and then, you know, it's just I don't want to say this stereotype, but you know, running backs really do come. Like, there's a lot of running backs that can you can just install in a program and they can do what you need.
Yeah. That's fair. You're not wrong. I agree with the mindset. I'll say that. I 100% agree. Running backs are a dime a dozen. You can replace them. I think that no team should pay a running back. I've thought that for years. I changed my tune with Alvin Kamara a little bit because he's Alvin freaking Kamara. I also agree you build your team from the inside out. O-line, D-line, like, you got to go there first. But for some reason, my gut is telling me, and I was thinking Ginty. I was at 9. But my gut is telling me you go Tate McMillan. Tate McMillan.
I can't be mad at that either.
No. I mean, I'm not really mad at any position because we need.
Dude, the more I watch him, the more I watch his tape, the more I watch his highlights, I'm like, man, I want this guy. I don't care. I want this guy.
Yeah. Or like getting like a Will Johnson or something like that on defense. Yeah. Because you don't know about Paulson Adebo. We're going to pay him or.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, they're not deep at cornerback, but they've got options, right? Like, you got at least 2 guys that you think can be your starters. You got Alante and you got Kool-Aid. Or you would hope Kool-Aid can be a starter. I mean, you know.
And there's always somebody later in the draft. There's always some cornerback later in the draft they're just waiting to get some run.
Yeah. And the guy we just signed, is he our DB's coach? I can't remember the guy we just signed, a defensive coach. He coached at Texas, and supposedly there's ties to the DBs at Texas.
Terry Johnson?
Yeah. So
not Terry.
I don't know.
Joseph.
I'm just agreeing with you.
Joseph. Like, no, it's Joseph. Yeah.
Terry Joseph. Yeah. I knew he came from Texas, and I've heard, you know, people like, oh, natural.
He's related to Vance Joseph too.
Oh, there you go. Big defensive mind. It's a good one. Any pie in the sky thoughts about the draft? If you can trade up, do you?
No.
Okay.
You know,
is it because you don't believe in the guys above, or is it because you're just fine where you are?
I'm fine where we're at. I mean, if anything, I trade back and try and get more picks.
Okay.
I agree.
I like that.
And that's a lot for me to say because I'm such a huge fan of the quarterbacks in this draft. I will argue with anybody all day about Shedeur and Cam Ward. I really would. And this is just my hopes on their potential. They can get hurt first week. They cannot be as good, you know, all this stuff. But I think the Saints are just in the position that they need to diversify their amount of just, you know, go-getter guys that you can just input in the lineup as soon as possible. So, and there's so many. I don't want to say there's so many because we don't know. But I think the talent is that deep that if you go back and you tell me we're getting, like, if we went back and we got 2 guys in the teens Like, you telling me we get an offensive lineman and defensive lineman first round, then I'm about it. Or second round, I don't care. I'm about it because I think the draft is that, we selected Trevor Penning first round, didn't we?
Yes, we
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, that was a year we got a lot.
We did. I'm not accepting Trevor Penning hate anymore. He's turning the corner. He just needed reps. Okay, guys, he needed reps.
I'm still
let an offensive lineman be. He can move. Like,
he can move.
Put him at guard. If we
what I'm saying.
if we can get Will Campbell,
definitely swing him to guard.
If we can get Mason Graham,
yeah. I would love to trade up, and here's why. I want Cam Ward. I want Cam Ward more than I've wanted any quarterback in a long time. Okay, Shedeur, fine. I want Cam Ward, and it's because Cam Ward looks like a guy that does things that you can't coach. Like, the dude is electric. He's a winner. He's electric. I want him. I don't know how else to explain that. Like, I don't know. He also, so people will point at, oh, he made these mistakes. He does some dumb things. Yeah, he does. But it seems like in those situations when he does them, it's like, hey, I just want to see if I can get away with this. Oh, I can't. And then he never does it again. It's not like he makes the same mistake over and over. He makes one mistake and then he moves on. I just, something about him.
I would say his biggest. I'm sorry. I would say his biggest, the biggest thing I see with Cam Ward that just attracts me to him as a player so much is his confidence, because he's confident because he's working at it. Like, that's work ethic. That's, reps. He's confident because of the reps that he put in. But unlike so many other quarterbacks, and, it's not like Miami had the best offensive line. I'm not saying they had a garbage one, but they didn't have the best one. He has such great poise. Like, that is uncoachable. Like, that reduced anxiety of, like, having a quarterback just throw it away when he probably shouldn't have thrown it away and just taking the hit and threw the ball, or step up in the pocket, or, move outside the pocket and have poise and trust in the guys that you put in those reps with to, make a play. That's something that, we'd like to see in Derek Carr. And Cam Ward is doing it, at a, pretty consistently. And I think people made fun of, this dude don't even care. He just balling out there. Like, this is backyard, football to him. But no, that's what you call poise in the pocket. That's what you call, work ethic, have the trusting in your footwork, trusting in your arm, trusting in your teammates. That's what that is. But my pushback, because I am Shedeur over Cam Ward.
Okay.
And it's something about I'm not glazing. Not glazing. Did it just blur my watch?
No.
But the Sanders name, man.
I guess. That's the reason, though? The name?
I mean, no. Just look at the game, because just like Cam, Shedeur has really good poise. Like, his footwork, his ability to really dart, like, he's a gunslinger. Like, no doubt about it. And I think with Cam, not Cam Ward, I think with Shedeur, a coach like Moore, I think in a system like that, both of them, because Moore's going to do great with any good quarterback. I think he's a quarterback. They're going to connect. But I don't know. It's something about, I think Shedeur can handle the dome. I think he can handle that dome.
Yeah. Pause. I don't know why I needed to say pause. Just felt like a pause moment.
Whoa.
I just came to me.
But one more thing about the quarterbacks. Whatever coach, if Kellen Moore were to draft a quarterback in the first round, I'd be fully behind it, because that's who he wants.
Absolutely.
So, correct. Yes, sir.
So whoever he gets, I'll be fully behind.
Yeah. All right. We've gone about 40 minutes. I don't want to dive too much deeper, because we'll go for an hour, and this is not supposed to be that type of pod. So, we got any last thoughts on any of this?
Last thoughts. I'm excited for the draft. I would say that this is one of those drafts for the Saints that I'm just like, I don't think Mickey Loomis' influence is going to be as influential as it used to be. I think he's got to put this draft and the ballpark, of the new coach. I think he's got to lean toward what Moore wants, because Mickey, you're sort of, your time here is it's not going to be that much longer. And Moore has a possibility to be here for maybe 3 to 7 years, hopefully longer if he's doing really well. You know what I'm saying? So I hope that he gives Moore that autonomy to do what he needs to do to better forward this organization, because honestly, it's been a rough all season.
That it has. What about you? Any closing thoughts?
Not early. I mean, excited for the draft as well. I mean, can't wait to see what we do.
For sure. I'm excited to get rid of Derek Carr. That's it. I'm also excited for the draft, but I'm not going to go too deep in anything. I think we've had time. I appreciate you guys. We'll see you guys soon. I know we're not releasing every week. Obviously, it's the off season. We're going to do this when we feel like it. So just be on the lookout. Subscribe on Be in the Know's YouTube, and you'll obviously get the updates anytime this comes out. But there's also a lot of other cool stuff on there. So, go subscribe, check it out, like, comment, all that nerd stuff that people say when they end videos. Yeah, that's it. Who dat?